And he's going on about how he's had visions of ruling the world. And, I mean, he's totally, he looks in the mirror at his God every day.
Well, I heard that it was all agenda with him being appointed as governor in California, where he was just going to go over there and take their guns. He was there for gun control.
Yeah. And look at his movies, like Total Recall. I mean, that was a recall election. And they had that movie that came out before that, Total Recall. I mean, it's incredible how that
His
works.
movies are very profound. I mean, they have a lot of masonry significance in them and revealing info.
Oh, very much so.
That one movie, Predator, that invisible cloaking suit that they use.
Yeah, and all of a sudden now we've got cloaking devices, you know.
Yeah, and I've heard that was an actual suit that was on loan by the government for that movie.
Huh.
That we didn't even have that kind of technology back then for the movie to even be able to produce that.
Well, remember that show, The Lone Gunman?
Yeah.
Well, before the Twin Towers came down, they had an episode where some terrorists hijacked a plane with remote control, and they were sending it right into one of the Twin Towers. I mean, did they have a crystal ball or something?
I always liked that show.
Oh, it had some incredible concepts and stuff.
Yeah, and they took it off, it seems to me, early.
Yeah, well, it did its part, so now they don't need it. They can move on.
And the movie the show 24, I don't know if you watched that one at all, heard of it.
Oh, yeah, talk
Kiefer
about
Sutherland.
Deep show.
And they had a show on last week about the dirty bomb going off in Miami.
Yeah.
And I had posted a code on that last year.
Yeah.
Warning about a dirty bomb going off in Atlanta, or Miami, a nuke going off.
And then if it does go off in reality, well, everybody's kind of used to the idea because, 30 million people watch the show,
Yeah, well, because it was on 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what they do is they've always used movies to reveal info. Well, the ones I always thought, what about you think about the Star Wars series?
Oh, there you go. I mean, they're preparing us because very soon from now, they're going to go, all these different species and stuff are going to go, they're playing for all the marbles. They're going to go for who's going to be the ruling force of the world. And they're going to go at it. And there's going to be a lot of, but then how can we fight aliens? We don't have the technology. But the good aliens, they have the technology. We'll have to form an alliance with them. So
yeah.
Now we have to form an alliance with the good aliens, and they're going to bring peace and prosperity. Well, I saw all that on the Twilight Zone.
That's a viable point because I see it all the time in the codes how Babylon makes an alliance with these things. How you see the terms alliance and alignment.
Well, look at that movie. I just about fell out of my chair. If you go to quicktime.com, you can look at all the movie previews, and so I'm going through there and I'm looking at War of the Worlds, and then they have subtitles. They're already here. The next World War will not be started by humans. And what are they telling us?
So you think the Ronald Reagan prophetic quote will come to pass?
Yeah, and Douglas MacArthur, and there was the Minister of Japan, and, they're all saying, well, there's only going to be world unity when, the aliens come. And he says a species from another planet. That's what Reagan said. We're attacked by species from another planet.
Well, his quote was the whole world uniting to fight against a hostile invasion from space.
Yeah, we'd all become united in our war against so now we have to form an alliance with the good aliens, and then the good aliens take over. The whole thing is wrapped up in one movie, and that's V, the series. They had two movies, and V spells the whole thing out, how they come in peace and how they delude us, but they actually come to use us as for food and steal our water.
Yeah, you know the V series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was two movies that started that whole TV series. It was two made-for-TV movies, and they were part one and part two, and it goes through all the reptilians and how they look so human and how they just take over and it goes on and on. But that, remember what I was saying about that, like, the hybrids are in our society eating their way to the surface of the apple, right?
Right.
Well, if we see worms, we freak, like, oh, maggots, oh. But TV gets us used to it, and that's what's happening in movies, get us used to it. So this is why we're seeing a big increase now in movies about monsters and creepy things. And
well, what do you think about some of these stars that you detail on your website that they're hybrids? Why do you think aliens want to become movie stars in Hollywood?
Well, a lot of fame, a lot of fortune, a lot of money, a lot of power. But, yeah, I mean, Hollywood, I mean, that a magician's wand is made from the wood of a holly tree. Oh. And Hollywood stars, well, stars are angels in the Bible. And they're light bearers, and now you got Bush going on about 1,000 points of light, you know. It's all about light, and what they do is they've perverted our society. They're always pushing the envelopes, you know, and same with all the music. It's always, you'll never see a Christian, a decent Christian being an actor, because he wouldn't want to be an actor. You know?
They wouldn't last.
And same with these some of the music now is just, it's all mind control, and it's all conditioning people to this coming reality shift. I mean, one day we're going to wake up, it's going to be a different reality.
What are some of the biggest stars that you see pushing their alien agenda through Hollywood today?
Well, I think maybe mostly is the producers and the directors. And
Michael Moore?
Pardon me?
Michael Moore?
Well, there's another guy that I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw him.
I had a picture on my site. Maybe I got it off of yours. I don't know. You can get it off mine if you don't have it. And he's got this alien on the side of his face.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and it was the same one that Al Gore has, that Bill Clinton has.
Yeah, and then we have Gore, who shapeshifted on TV, and millions of people saw it.
Yeah.
I have personal friends that I know that saw it, and they say, you know, they said he just distorted everything, but the background remained the same. You know, and yet people just kind of, oh, well, you know, you just think about dark things too much.
Yeah,
you have to have the love of Jesus.
It's your imagination.
In other words,
millions of others see it at the same time. Because it was the talk of the Internet 2 years ago when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people saw it. And apparently there was a lot of people saw the Pope shapeshift momentarily, too.
Oh, you know, and if people would send me video clips of those, I'd put them on my site in a hybrid.
Well, I got one of that serial killer, Elaine Warnes, and I'm not sure if she's shapeshifting, but it's sure bizarre because it's exactly what Bush did, not Bush, Gore, is that his face changed, but the background remained the same. We see that with her, too, is that her face changes. Now, it looks kind of like static, or there's something wrong with the camera or something.
Yeah.
But the background's the same. The background doesn't change. Her shoulders look the same. They don't change. Nothing changes.
You know who I've seen that with before is that Rexella Impey.
Oh, you see, now that's a real New Age witch name, Rexella.
I've seen her do it, and it just freaks me to no end. And I would stick up for Jack Van Impe for a good year or so, and fight for him and argue for him, but he sticks his own foot in his mouth. I mean, come on, he's
now he's talking
clearly
about
a Jesuit agenda now.
Yeah, our Catholic brothers, our Islamic brothers.
Yeah, everybody's their brothers, and he was promoting the Pope's book, Crossing the Threshold.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, and I couldn't get past 3 pages of that book. It was so blasphemous.
Well, every time he talks about the Pope, he just wiggles his toes in glee, you know.
And he really was a diehard promoter of the Vatican. He still is.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to see more and more, is a lot of these preachers coming out of the closet more and more.
And you know, I spend a lot of time on Benny Hinn and Kenneth Copeland.